First Watch Now.
What you need to know from the Cochise County Sheriff's Office.
Hosted by Cochise County Public Information Officers Carol Kappas and Grady Butler. First Watch on 92.3 KWCD.
And it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative, giving you an inside look into your Sheriff's Office. I'm Grady Butler, and with me is Carol Kappas, Public Information Officer with the Sheriff's Office, and Sheriff Mark Daniels is away this week.
He is. Good morning, Cochise County. So we have Commander Robert Watkins here with us today.
Hello. Good morning.
So tell us what's going on with Cochise County, and we can start off with a mental health program. When you were here last time, that's what you were talking about. So I think you've made serious strides in that since then.
Yes, ma'am. We as a collective have actually had a lot of forward momentum in that regard. Just for a recap, through a very generous gift from the Legacy Foundation of Southeastern Arizona, we were given just under $1.3 million to fund a mental health support team. We are actually going before the Board of Supervisors, the Cochise County Board of Supervisors, this Tuesday, so that they can accept that award. And we hope to move forward in the near future of hiring 3 licensed master's level behavioral health professionals to hit the streets and help serve our community.
Do you know when we might be looking to hire those people?
We will post a job opening for the lead behavioral health professional immediately following the board's acceptance of the gift. So if they accept the award on Tuesday following the Board of Supervisors meeting, we will open that job opening that day or the following day.
And so that whole program is going to have 3 people. And can you just briefly tell us what their functions will be? How are they going to integrate with the Sheriff's Office?
Yes, ma'am. That's a good question. So their first thing is they're going to act as a crisis response team to augment existing crisis mobile teams within the county through our collective partners. But these people will work for the Sheriff's Office, and they will try and forge a relationship with those suffering from mental illness within the county. And the idea being is that when they respond to a person who is in crisis, we do everything we can to try and assist them and get them the help they need. But then we follow up with them 2 to 3 days later, whatever the industry standard is, when the person is not suffering a mental health crisis, and we try and support them by allocating existing resources and programs toward them to help them cope with their mental illness.
And are they going to be utilized at all in our jail, or is that going to be something separate?
So the jail already has an amazing mental health program. The staff inside the Cochise County Jail are phenomenal. But the problem is that the people, when they leave the jail, which, by the way, the jail is unfortunately used as our mental health treatment facility, and that's not the design of a jail. That's not the function of a jail. So if we can reduce recidivism and keep people out of jail, that's our primary goal. So we're going to work with the Cochise County detention mental health staff and continue the programs that those inmates are on when they're in custody, and hopefully they can continue that trend when they're released from custody so they don't go back.
And one of the other things that people hear about a lot in our area, specifically from the Sheriff's Office, is Operation Safe Streets. So we have an analyst that puts everything together for us. We're fortunate in that, so thank you to the National Guard. But we want to make sure that people understand what the latest is. So do you have updates on Operation Safe Streets?
I do. Unfortunately, every time we have a sit rep, which is a situation report, through our current trends, we say, hey, it can't get much worse than this. This is the worst we've ever seen. It is truthfully progressively deteriorating. The stats just continue to overwhelm us. I don't know what the answer is, but our Safe Streets partners and our regional law enforcement community are doing everything they can to try and quell this the best they can. During the month of June, we saw a 33% increase in human smuggling events. We saw a 39% increase in load drivers and assistant load drivers. We saw an 8% increase in UDAs undocumented aliens being victims of felonious offenses. And we actually saw a 30% decrease in the area of failure to yield. That's the pursuits through our town. But that tends to be less from their actions and more from ours. We are trying to deliberately choose when we initiate the traffic stop and not do it where it's likely to render a pursuit through our communities. So that's more of an intelligence-based policing on our part and not reflective of a decrease in criminal behavior.
And Operation Safe Streets is also multi-agency.
It is, yes.
All right, well, let's move on to the next topic, which is the County Regional Active Shooter Training. We've got that going on.
Yeah, so we've actually fielded numerous calls following the tragedy in Uvalde, Texas. People, rightly so, have been calling and asking what our program is and what our protocol is. It is not to wait and treat the situation like a barricade in the event of an unfortunate active killer. It is to respond and neutralize the threat immediately. So we've actually been doing regional active shooter training. We were going to do it anyway, despite Uvalde. It's something that we were doing before the pandemic, and we had scheduled it throughout the summer. So in June, we had our first active shooter training, patrol response to an active shooter training at the First Baptist Christian Academy on 7th Street in Sierra Vista. Really good partnership with those fine individuals. Staff members were there. It was an awesome training. We really helped train our patrol deputies. We just concluded a training at the Stevenson School in Douglas. Great partnership with the Douglas Unified School District there. We had some really nice kids from the drama department come in, and they really brought a live feature to the training event, which helped make it a realistic training event. We're going to have a training in Wilcox in August, and then we're going to conclude with a large training here in Sierra Vista, probably a 2 or 3 day training event sometime this fall.
And so with all of that said, everybody gets trained up. We also have new recruits going through an academy. So the newest academy starts Monday. It does.
Through a great partnership with Cochise College, we're able to train our own homegrown individuals here in Cochise County. The current Academy Class 22-2 is going to be, it looks like they're going to have 19 recruits in that class, and 2 of which are CCSO-sponsored recruits.
And that starts on Monday, and I think we're going to try to get some photos and stuff up on our Facebook page of them starting their training as well.
That's right.
It's going to be good.
Welcome aboard.
Well, Commander, we thank you for coming and talking to us today. Is there anything else you'd like to let the community know?
No, I appreciate everything you guys are doing. It's a great time. Thank you very much.
All right, Carol, who do we have coming in next?
We have Dan Duchan. He is the interim county emergency services manager.
First Watch on KWCD Country is brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
It's First Watch Now.
Hosted by Public Information Officer Carol Kappas and Grady Butler.
On 92.3 KWCD.
And it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative, giving you an inside look into your sheriff's office. I'm Grady Butler, and with me is Carol Kappas, Public Information Officer with the Sheriff's Office, and our next guest.
Welcome back, Cochise County. So we have Dan Duchan. He's the interim director of the Cochise County Emergency Services, among all of the other hats that you wear at Cochise County, and volunteering too. So you just can't get enough of us.
Correct. Good morning. Thank you for having me.
So tell us who you are and a little bit about what you do.
Absolutely. So my name is Daniel Duchan. I'm the Director of Emergency Services for Cochise County. I'm wearing 2 hats right now. I'm still the County Budget Manager, and I've been a volunteer with the Search and Rescue Team for about 4 years now. Prior to that, I began my career with some wildland fire in college. I spent 5 years in the Border Patrol right there at the Naco Station, or the Brian A. Terry Station. Then I continued on working for Cochise County, Special Projects, and Budget, Finance, and now Emergency Management.
And what does the Emergency Management Team do for Cochise County?
Excellent question. So my elevator speech is that whenever there's a public safety situation that goes past that first day or that first shift, or it becomes multi-agency, multidisciplinary, we step in behind the scenes and help and facilitate. A good example is a large wildfire. The Forest Service would send in an incident management team that would manage the fire. They would direct the firefighters, the fire trucks out there working on the fire. But behind the scenes, emergency management would partner with the sheriff's office on what roads needs to be closed. Are there evacuations? We would know best locally how to reach the public to get this message out. that incident management team from out of town wouldn't know the ins and outs of the local area. We would work with our public works teams on road closures. So we would be behind the scenes facilitating that federal team coming in and getting the ancillary things done locally, making those local connections. Additionally, we do a lot of pre-planning. One of the biggest things we're working on right now is our hazard mitigation plan. So reaching out to our professional engineers, the Forest Service, seeing what hazards are out here in the community. Is it wildfire? Is it drought? Is it some subsidence? And how do we mitigate that before? The last and most important thing we do is our public alerting system. So we have two sides to that where residents can sign up voluntarily for the smaller scale alerts like weather events or small problems. And the large scale events, we have access to the IPAWS system, which is the Federal Integrated Public Alert and Warning System, where we could send out wireless emergency alerts, which is like an Amber Alert, and we could draw a polygon on a map and hit everybody's cell phone there. So I'd like to get that information out as well. So we just implemented recently, and I'm very excited to announce for the first time, we have a text number where you can text your zip code to 38276, and that'll automatically enroll your cell phone to receive alerts. So just text your zip code, so 85635 for Sierra Vista, to 38276, so that's 38276, and you'll be automatically enrolled. And we do have a website, so it's cochise.myfreealerts.com. And we'll get that out on the social media so you can sign up for those alerts.
And when they go to that website, how easy is it to sign up for that? I mean, what's kind of the process at that website?
Excellent. So you would enter your information, your name, where you live, and based on your zip code, it would determine what alerts you would get if it's in your area. And there's different types of alerts. Do you want to be alerted for severe weather, minor weather, everything? You could pick your alerts from thunderstorms, flooding, lightning, tornado. So you can tailor it if you only want to know about certain things.
And one of the things that's on there that amazed me, and I didn't realize this many, many years ago when you first kicked off Alert Sense, was there's a, a boil water alert. And I thought, we are never going to use that in Cochise County. And within a month, Wilcox had an issue with a water thing. It was Bowie, actually. And they needed to boil their water. So that's where those kinds of things come into play. So you can select them all, or you can be picky. But either way, it does help. So we want to encourage everybody to sign up for Alert Sense. And if you, again, text your zip code to that 38276, that's a great way to do it, to do, a mini enroll. So you'll get notified on major issues. But if you do that in addition to going to the CochesMyFreeAlerts.com, you can tailor it to what you need. And I think that that's a better way to do it. It's always better to have too much information than not enough.
Exactly.
So when you get these alerts, there's times where people don't get an alert and they're wondering why they wouldn't. What is that situation?
A lot of it comes down to the severity of the situations. We have our tiered alerts that are tiered based on the severity of the situation. So when we talk about evacuations, you hear about the ready, set, go. So if it's a ready status, that just means a fire is near and there could be potential. We may only post that on Facebook, social media, and a press release. But if you go to the ready, set, then we may send an alert to those that have voluntarily subscribed, and we could hit the landlines with the reverse 911 system. And then when it's time to evacuate, we would hit every cell phone in that area that says, go, evacuate now.
And we recently had an incident or two in Douglas. Can you tell us how your office facilitated in Douglas this week?
Yes. So it was Tuesday night, a large thunderstorm came through the southern portion of the county, through Douglas, Bisbee, Hereford, Sierra Vista, and then over the Huachucas into Santa Cruz County. Unfortunately, the majority of the damage was centered north of Douglas near Leslie Canyon. we actually had about 40 homes receive some type of damage, and the American Red Cross estimates were under 10 homes that were severely or majorly damaged. So what happened is the power company, they had over 40 poles down, 350 customers lost power. They sent an ice truck down for the residents, and they weren't able to staff that, so we partnered with the City of Douglas to step up their visitor center as a point of dispensing for the ice truck and water. Walmart donated water, APS donated water, and we had the Sheriff's Assist team show up there a few hours later. So by 2 p.m. that day, we had ice, water, and a cooling center there at the Douglas Visitor Center. That ran all through Thursday, and power is slowly being restored. So Thursday was a big day. We went to work. A lot happened. The Sheriff's Assist team went out there. They did welfare checks across the whole area, which was several square miles. It was a very significant area. So significant, the National Weather Service actually came down from Tucson and did their own assessment. And I asked the weather specialist, well, can you put this in perspective? How often do you leave Tucson to do these on-site assessments? And he said once or twice a year. So this is a significant event not only for Cochise County but southern Arizona. Even the American Red Cross came out and did a site assessment as well, and they're bringing some resources out today to Douglas.
And so today they're supposed to meet in Douglas at the fire department at what time?
Yes, the American Red Cross will be at the Douglas Fire Department on 10th Street starting at 9 a.m. and helping families with disaster assistance applications to see who would qualify based on the type of damage and if the home is still habitable or not. And I do have an American Red Cross number as well I'd like to get out. So that's 800-842-7349. Say that again, 800-842-7349. You can call them to see what type of assistance you would qualify for.
And we're going to throw all of these phone numbers and text numbers out one more time before you leave at the end, so everybody get your pen ready at that time. But before that, you were talking about cooling stations. Tell us what those are and how those were implemented in Douglas.
Yes, so with the power outages to over 300 customers and the heat we experienced in Douglas, people would just need a place to come and spend the hottest portion of the day to get out of the heat. So the City of Douglas really stepped up. They gave up their visitor center, some staff, and they purchased some snacks as well. And again, Walmart donated water. So that was open Wednesday and Thursday, but with power being restored, the cooling center won't be open today.
And so during that whole time, people were able to take advantage of that. And one other question that I had with the Red Cross is doing the assessments. So you talked about people coming to Cochise County to see what goes on. What would trigger like a FEMA alert, if you will? I mean, I know that this wasn't, a tornado or, well, I don't know what it was, but it was bad. So what would trigger them? Are they coming? Are they not coming? What would be that?
The key is really the size and scope. At this point, I wouldn't anticipate a state declaration of emergency or a federal declaration, which would trigger those special federal teams to come down and open certain types of funds. It was a significant event.
And so one of the questions that we get, and you've obviously received it as well, is about how is the county going to help me clean this up? So what can Cochise County do for the people there to help in that manner?
Yes, so this morning our Public Works and Solid Waste Division is delivering a roll-off dumpster to the area, so the residents there will be able to put some of the damage and debris there free of charge. Because a lot of the debris is, we don't even know where it's from. Mm-hmm. It could be in your yard and from a quarter mile away. So the county is really stepping up with the roll-off dumpster there.
And you also help with fires. And like the Red Cross does what they do for fires, what do you guys do for fires after the fact?
So after the fact, we would go into, after the response with the Forest Service or the BLM, we would go into the recovery phase, and that would be working with Red Cross setting up the shelter. And that's an excellent example of how emergency management would come in behind the scenes. Incident commander for the fire may say, we need to evacuate this area. Ready, set, go. Cochise County would send the alert and get with the American Red Cross to schedule and the location of the shelter. So the shelter would be facilitated and set up through County Emergency Management and the American Red Cross, and they have their disaster recovery team that would come down with the cots, the water, the snacks, and manage that shelter in a location that we've pre-planned with emergency management.
And it really sounds like you are an allocator of resources.
Yes. So there's two people in our office. My partner, I want to give a shout out, Tammy Jo Wilkins. She says, we're the resource for the resource.
Mm-hmm.
Yay, Tammy Jo. She's been everywhere just like you have, so great job. Great job.
Well, let's throw out all of those websites, phone numbers, and everything again. Just kind of give us a laundry list. Everybody's got their pen and paper ready. Start with the Red Cross.
So the American Red Cross, that 800 number is 800-842-7349. Then our local Cochise County alerts is, so text your zip code to 38276, 38276, and our website is cochise.myfreealerts.com.
And that's where you can sign up for and pick and choose.
Yes.
All right. Well, Dan, we thank you for coming and talking to us today, and we thank you for what you do in Cochise County and for our residents. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Carol, how do they get a hold of us at the Sheriff's Office?
So reach out and give us a shout at cochise.az.gov/sheriff. Sheriff Mark J. Daniels is our Facebook page, and you can connect to our Instagram and our Twitter through that, or give us a call, 520-432-9500.
First Watch on KWCD Country is brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
You've been listening to First Watch with the Cochise County Sheriff's Office.
Hosted by Cochise County Public Information Officers Carol Kappas and Grady Butler.
Join us again next Friday morning, 7 to 8 a.m.
First Watch.
What you need to know from the Cochise County Sheriff's Office.
Only on 92.3 KWCD.